Hello there, one and all. Welcome to Slapendipity, hobos of happy, slappy town. I am Eric, who you may call Eric, and with me is Devon, who you may call Gibby. And on this episode, we must continue their theming of trips from Japan, and what better episode than episode 69 to talk about Universal Park.
I think the coolest thing about Universal was some of the food that we got to eat there.
Okay.
There was this churro that was themed after Wicked, because that movie came out. There were some churros that were themed after the Hogwarts houses. A lot of churros I found in Japan. I don't know why. I don't know if it's a Japanese thing. I don't think it is.
In the theme parks.
Some pretty cool ice cream. Well, no, because there were churros other places too, and there's ice cream other places too.
I mean...
Okay, let's take a quick detour from this Universal. Where was the best ice cream that you had in Japan, Eric?
Where is the best well, okay. If we're talking soft serve ice cream, I think that random shop in front of one of the shrines we went to, or that Hawaiian-themed restaurant we went to at the beach. But I know what you want me to say is what we call a Super 8 that we first had from a gift shop from one of the castles that just had ice cream in it. And it was a delicious little ice cream sandwich where there's a bunch of vanilla ice cream in like a cube, not a cube, like a rectangle, and then a thin bit of hard chocolate in the middle of that vanilla ice cream cube. And then it's covered by like a waffle cone in the shape of like a waffle press, still a rectangle though. And it's the most polite, fun way to eat ice cream, because your hands are touching the waffle cone rectangle, so you don't get dirty from it, unless it's on your mouth. Your hands stay clean the entire time. Beautiful.
Yes, I will agree. I do think that we should separate ice cream into, like, as you just kind of said, like 3 categories. Like pre-packaged, and then like softcore and hardcore. So for the pre-packaged, those Super 8s were genuinely incredible. There were vanilla ones and chocolate ones. The only difference was the chocolate one had a thin layer of chocolate, and so I tried both, and the chocolate was just better. But the ice cream was still vanilla ice cream, just had a little bit of chocolate in it. So yeah, I had so many of those things. Don't remember what they're called. The only English on the package was Super 8, so we called them Super 8s. I think the best softcore ice cream I had was outside the Gold Tower. That was in Kyoto. The Gold Tower is a tower that has like a layer of gold all along the outside. Very pretty, very shiny, very cool. And it is the inspiration for the burned tower from Pokemon Gold and Silver. Like, Pokemon Gold comes from this tower.
Because
in real life, a monk accidentally burned it down in like the 70s.
I don't know if it was an accident.
It was an accident, and then he quit, and then he tried to kill himself, and then he didn't succeed. But yes, a young monk accidentally burned it down, so they had to rebuild it. So that's what inspired. And at the top of the tower is a big golden phoenix, and that's the inspiration behind the Pokemon Ho-Oh. So Ho-Oh comes from a burned tower, so it's a tower that burned down. Ho-Oh is a golden phoenix, and Pokemon Gold is named after this tower. So it was really cool to go there. We saw Ho-Oh. We didn't get to catch him, though, but I think that would have been really funny. Like, maybe it could be a Pokestop or a gym or something. I don't know. But, yeah, no, I really enjoyed that, because right outside was an ice cream store. And this is right when Eric had said, you know what I want to do? I want to get some Sakura ice cream, some cherry blossom ice cream, because I had that last time I was in Japan. And I was like, Eric, We're going to make it a quest for you. We are going to find cherry blossom ice cream somewhere while we're in Japan. So we find this little ice cream store right outside the temple, and we go up, and we're like, maybe they'll have it. And they didn't. They just had, like, normal flavors. But for an upcharge of, like, $2, you could get gold flakes, real, actual gold, on top of your ice cream. So, I got vanilla ice cream with some gold flakes. I don't think Eric got gold flakes, though. What did you get, Eric?
I just got vanilla ice cream.
Just got vanilla ice cream. For $2 more, you could have gotten some gold. I can't really describe what it tasted like, but it definitely had a taste to it. So I enjoyed it. Would spend $2 for again. It would probably be like a $10 upcharge in America. But it was enjoyable. I liked it. I did it for the ho-oh.
Devin, this has nothing to do with Universal. You're so off theme.
We're talking about ice cream. Okay, it is important. The best... No, this is thematically important to the episode. This is the point of the episode, in fact. The best hardcore ice cream was
just
at the Maid
serve.
Cafe.
Okay.
What would you... how did you enjoy your hardcore ice cream at the Maid Cafe?
Hard serve!
Sorry, hard.
Soft serve?
Hard
served?
Hard at the Maid Cafe. Sorry.
I hate it here.
I hope you know that I tricked you. I have no intention about talking about Universal, and that for episode 69, we're just talking about the Maid Cafe.
Now I will exclusively talk about it, and you'll exclusively talk about it, and then we'll have, like, the one episode with, like, an A plot and a B plot.
So explain to them the Dreamy Maids. Explain Dreamy Maids.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's what it's called.
Oh. I didn't even know that. So at Universal...
No, what are you doing? We're talking about the Maid Cafe.
We're talking about Universal!
No, we're not. The end of last
Devin
episode...
is the biggest, filthiest liar.
The end of last episode...
Hey, Devin, we're starting a new episode. You want to talk about Universal? Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, no, I lied. The end of last episode...
You're the one who says lying is the evilest evil you can ever do.
I'm tricksying my...
You're not... That's not tricks, that's straight up lying.
The end of last episode, you were about to transition to talk about the Maid Cafe, and I cut you off to end the episode. So this episode...
bullshit.
You said, welcome to episode 69, and I'm like, we're going to transition to the Maid Cafe without telling Eric.
This is a lie. So Universal was really cool.
So
I think it was
on like
the
our
best
second to last day, we can just do two audio tracks, a left ear and a right ear. I'll talk and you talk at the same time. It's double episode.
I really hate this because it's just a force of wills of who is greater, and I will back out for the sake of the audience because you don't care about them. You're like the neglectful dad that goes out for milk, and I'm at home just being like, no, they're there. I'll read you a bedtime story.
You know who cares a lot about their audience? The employees
Universal.
of the Maid Cafe.
Yeah, they were pretty good. They were really considerate.
So like our third to last day in Japan. Second to last. Was that the day we went to the beach? I think so.
No, the day we went to the beach was our third to last.
Okay. Either way, we went to a Maid Cafe. Eric, can you explain again for our audience what a Maid Cafe is?
So, one of the things about Universal I really liked was the...
Okay, so...
Nintendo Land was cool, I guess?
Yes, the Maid Cafe was based on Nintendo. Their logo was actually in the same... Their logo was literally in the font of the original Mario Brothers, and inside, there's a bunch of lamps and decorations on the wall that were copyright non-infringing Mario question mark blocks.
Legally distinct
Mario question mark blocks, and their logo was in the Mario font. So it was called, I think, Maid Dream, or something like that. But the maid was like the Mario, like the M, like it's a whole thing. So a Maid Cafe is not what I thought it was, in which it's a cafe, but the waitresses are like dressed up or something. It is in fact primarily about the women being dressed up and secondarily about the food. So like when we went in, they were like, okay, so you get a table for an hour and here's your menu. I was like, oh, okay. Like we paid for like the table, but also for the food, or we had to buy, you paid for the table and you had to buy a food per hour. I don't remember. Anyway, we walk in. The girl behind the counter who we were yapping with is trying to tell us like what's on the menu because I don't really want food. I don't think Eric really wanted food, so we ended up just getting ice creams.
Well,
But
we
she's flipping through the
said
menu.
that going in. We're like, we're gonna get
Yes.
parfaits because neither of us are really that hungry.
Yes, we
And
went solely in for the maid. That was the only reason we went in.
Devon was very culturally curious. And I'm very proud of him.
You know how
Except
people
right
say,
now.
you know how people say, I'm going to Hooters for the wings. That's like that, but like for real.
Yeah.
We were going for the wings. So we were looking at the menu, and she was like, okay, so like you can buy a food and an ice cream and like a this and a that. And I forget exactly how she was explaining it, but I was actually physically reading the menu, whereas Eric was being polite and having a conversation with the lady and like listening to the way that she was talking and like responding with words, whereas I was just reading. So I picked up pretty quickly that what the girl was trying to sell us on was this like $40 package in which one of the staff members comes out, gives you a meal and also a dessert, and then you get to take a photo with her, and a dance show happens where like they stand on this little stage, not anything creepy, probably, but like they stand on this little stage and they do like we're gonna sing like a K-pop song or something, J-pop song. So that's what like she was trying to sell Eric on. And Eric, I don't know what you thought she was saying.
I fully understood. I don't know why every time you're like, well, obviously Eric didn't understand. No, I was there for the culture. It was like, oh, Devon wants to do a maid cafe. We should go balls to the walls, 110%. And Devon's like, oh no, I just want to go 2%. I don't want anything more.
Yeah, but when I showed you the menu and I pointed and it said private show. I'm like, is this what you want to pay for? Because it's not what I do.
Well, I mean, some of it was, not understood. But yeah,
Oh my god. So the
it also
lady
wasn't
behind the
a
counter was
private
nice.
show.
You're right. There was one other, when we walked in, there was just one other guy there who was just like slurping down some ramen, just like slurps it at a table, just him.
Well, yeah, that's fine. People go out to eat by themselves all the time.
It's just a weird place to go out to eat, IMO. Anyway,
Well,
so we talk to the lady, we sit down at the table, we're just gonna get parfaits. I think Eric may have gotten a drink as well. So we're looking through the menu, and you pull up the English on your phone, and like we're scrolling through it, and we're like, oh, we're just kind of looking around, like, oh, it's like a Mario block. Oh, they have a Hatsune Miku thing. Oh, I wonder if blah blah blah. Like, there's no one here right now. I wonder if it gets busier later. We're just yapping. And then when it comes time for them to bring us our food, I think every girl who was on staff came over.
I think
And
probably.
I don't know if that's normal,
I think it is.
but they all seemed genuine, and maybe this is just me falling for their feminine wiles. They all seemed genuinely interested in us because we were American, like asking where we were from.
Yeah, where are you from? Where, America? Oh, where in America? Oh. And, like, Jersey? What? Who? New York? Oh, okay.
Yeah, in the least comprehensible English, one of the girls said, like, California? And we're like, no. And she goes, New York? And we're like, yes, New York, sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, and to describe, they were wearing, again, like black maid outfits, like it's like French maid type deal. Because they also had what I'm going to call like a more bubble pop pink maids, and Eric had a conversation. I found that concept creepy. I did not like that.
What just an maid outfit in pink?
Yes, if you want to have
a
woman acting subservient to me that I'm paying for, then fine. Okay, if she wants to roleplay as a maid, I'm paying her to go, go to the kitchen, clean my floors. I get to pretend I'm a 1600s era lord. Then sure, that's fine. The moment that they're like wearing pink and talking like little girls, now it's just like a creepy sex thing. So I don't like that. I can at least for this, I can pretend that it's about being a misogynist instead of about being a pedophile. Okay, so I much preferred the French maid one as opposed to like the pedo one. So that's why we did this one. Full blown, just like misogynist roleplay. Cook my food, woman.
Bruh.
Eric is speechless.
We also didn't pick that one because of that. We picked that one because I saw it on Google Maps and said, we're going here. And
yes, but I had made it very clear I was not going to participate in one that was, like, weird.
I mean, sure. I just want you to know that all came down to luck then, because I was not checking for that, because we had such little time, and I was just like, it's good reviews, whatever.
Leave luck to heaven, Mr. Eric. Can't believe you don't even know what that means. Anyway, I do think it's funny, because we had basically talked about it the entire trip. We talked about it before we left, where we were like, it is part of Japanese culture to go to these things. And we were there, and I was like, haha, we should go. Ha, JK, unless.
Well, one of the things was like, we can't plan to go to one. It has to happen impulsively, otherwise it's cringe.
Otherwise it's creepy and weird. But oh man, I'm so hungry. Oh, you know where I could go to eat right? Oh man, there's a restaurant right there. What's it saying? I'm not going to read the logo. It looks like they have ice cream. Let's just go in. That was the plan. The plan was to not have a plan, but to do that at some point. Which is why it happened on the second to last day, because we were both like, we are out of time. And then Eric found this place, and then I pretended to not know where he was taking me. And we went in, and we were like, oh man, oh no, one of these? Oof, I guess we'll have to sit down.
I didn't keep it hidden from you. I was like, Devon, we're going? It's the second to last day? You've been talking it up the entire trip? I will culture you by doing this for you.
So on one hand, obviously, I'm very glad that we did do it, but because it didn't end up being anything weird, if it had been weird, I'm sure I would have been incredibly upset by the entire experience. But it was literally just like, in their very conservative French maid outfits, they brought us ice cream and said, where are you from? And we said America, and they're like, wow, that's very cool. And in the beginning, they were like, oh, and like, remember, you have to be like so kawaii, haha. And they talk with like their like hands like in front of them, like a little cat thing or whatever. They're like kitty kitty noise. And like, yeah, that was it. Besides that, it was just a restaurant.
Yeah. You were so creeped out by the idea of it, and I would just go, Devon, it's just Hooters, but different.
I would have been more comfortable at Hooters.
Which is, I mean, they wouldn't enforce the, like, kitty stuff and, like, when we got our parfaits, you had to do a magic spell where you go, like, Kyun, Kyun, or Moe Moe Kyun. And you gotta do it in the voice, and I carried Devon through it, because he refuses to speak in public at any point, unless it's to me.
I have no issue with the magic spell, I have the issue with speaking not English.
It's not, it's just, onomatopoeias, I think. So I carried you, and you're welcome. And we got little keychains of our parfaits.
Is that why there was only one set of footprints on the beach, Eric?
Yes.
Okay. Because you carried me to the maid cafe.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, I did feel like we needed, as I was saying in the last episode, I was getting pins at like every location we went to. And so I definitely wanted like we went here, we did this, we came, we saw, we conquered, got a little keychain. So the parfaits we got were animal themed. I think Eric got like
I got a panda.
Cat. You got a panda, and I got a cat, something like that. So, like, we got the appropriate keychains to match the parfait that we got. Or at least I did. I don't know what you got. I also
got a panda keychain. You messed yours up. You got a puppy keychain or something.
That's right. I got the cat parfait and the dog keychain because I ordered the keychain first.
Fool.
Anyway, I do genuinely think that I was culturally enriched by the experience. And when I said that when we left, I think you laughed at me.
Yeah, probably, because I'm laughing now.
But I do think that despite the fact that it's obviously not like, I don't know, I'd say it might be as part of their culture the way that like Hooters is part of American culture. In that it totally is, even if it's not high class. I liked that. What I think it did, I think it actually humanized the women to talk to them. Okay, they're not just meat. They're not just signboards on the street to attract you to their restaurant. These were real, hardworking women who took our order and brought us our food and made us feel welcome in their home country.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was much less scared of them after that.
Well, that's good. It's such a funny idea to like imagine you lived in like you were born in Japan, you're a Japanese man, you come over to America and you're like, I always wanted to go to Hooters, but I'm so scared of the women.
Hold on, no one ever said I always wanted to. I said it was part of the cultural experience of enrichment.
It's such a subculture, though, in the same way that Hooters is. Hooters is for, like,
Southern
sportsmen. Yeah, probably football. From the South. It's such a niche category, which I think maid cafes are, too.
Yeah, I doubt that they're on the countryside.
Like, you know,
it's like in the deep city.
It's in the cities. It's for, I would say, stereotypically younger men. Although a woman did walk into the maid cafe we were in, and she just sat down and placed her orders and stuff, and I was like, huh, it really do be for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But no, yeah, it was a pretty nice time overall. They had a rule where, like, you can't say the word bathroom, you had to say butterfly garden, of, like, you know, excuse me, where's the bathroom? And it'd be like, no, don't say bathroom. You have to be like, excuse me, where's the butterfly garden?
Mm-hmm.
To maintain an air of class. Because they are maids, and I would say you're not role-playing as a lord from the 1600s.
No, that was my headcanon. That's the energy I was bringing. I wanted to see if the performers would bring it. No. No. You know what's really funny? So everything Eric just said is accurate, except he translated butterfly garden.
Yes.
They didn't say butterfly garden. They said incomprehensible Japanese phrase. And I'm like, oh, okay. I don't remember that. I guess I can't go to the bathroom. No idea until this very moment that apparently it translated to butterfly garden.
But they told us. There was in parentheses, it said, you know, Japanese phrase, parentheses, butterfly garden.
I just remember her telling us. She's like, you have to say meow meow, and you have to say insert Japanese phrase here.
Oh my goodness. Well, you also didn't have to say, if you spoke about it, as we later found out, I just went up and went to the bathroom. No one was like, excuse me, are you going to the butterfly garden?
You have to say the password. The password is butterfly. In Japanese. If you say it wrong, we're going to beat you.
Yeah. This is your weird... I think maybe you are afraid of women. I think you have a lot of baggage with... we should take you to Hooters and see what happens.
No,
I'm curious on what happens to you. If you, the entire time you're like, Eric, I don't know, they're gonna beat me up.
I don't know what to do, Eric. We are going speed dating soon, right, Eric?
No.
No.
And that's not important. We didn't finish talking about the maid cafe.
That is true. Did you like your parfait?
Yeah, it was okay.
I also thought mine was fine. I had a similar parfait type thing in Universal where I got a Donkey Kong parfait that had like fruity Cocoa Pebbles in it as like part of the ice cream. And I'm like, oh, okay. or maybe it was yogurt. I don't remember. But I'm like, oh, when they say parfait, what they mean is ice cream with weird stuff in it.
I mean, yeah, that's what a parfait is, I would say.
Yeah, cringe. Give me my ice cream sundae, please.
No, a sundae and a parfait are wildly different.
Yeah, I know. I don't like parfaits. Give me a sundae, please.
Bruh. I think one of the nice takeaways I had from the Maid Cafe is that when we were about to leave, I went to the bathroom or whatever, came back, and I was like, or maybe it was from that? No. When we were leaving, maybe? I don't remember. I was collecting these little keychain things of spirit animals, and I was putting them on my bag. And so at one point, as I'm just like, we're like kind of near the entrance, we're about to leave or whatever, one of the maids like sees them and is like, oh, they're like, those are really cool. Like, what are they from? And I'm like, oh, they're just from gotcha machines. They're not from like a show or anything. I just like saw them in gotcha capsules and thought they were really cool. And she was like, they are super cool. And this one looks so cute and stuff. And I was like, wow, thanks. And she was the only person to ever compliment me on those keychains of spirit animals. And
Yeah,
I
she
thought
really
they were
cared.
cool. And I was
Do
like,
you,
wow.
do you think she cared, or do you think it was her job to care?
I mean, I'll never know. But I think she cared, actually. Like, I don't know, that feels like a small detail to be like, hey, I think your things are cool. But I guess similarly, right, if I had earrings on, she could have just been like, whoa, I like your earrings, right? But because I wasn't wearing accessories, she found the only thing that, like, looked good, I guess, and complimented that. Who's to say? I choose to believe she was genuinely interested, though.
Well, I'm glad that it worked. Either her act worked, or you actually felt appreciated and seen.
Wow. What was your favorite part from the cafe?
Um, I liked that when they all came over to like ask us questions and be like, are you enjoying Japan? How long are you here for? Because I think they asked like, did you just get here? And we had to be like, actually,
Yeah.
we leave tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it did feel, and like this actually happened to us a couple times, but it felt like what they were interested because we were foreigners. So like it seemed like
Mm-hmm.
genuine interest, but also a sort of like uh it was not performative interest, it was genuine interest, but it was more like being gawked at a zoo as opposed to like, tell me about yourself. Because they're like, oh, Americans, tell us about America. We want to know what's it like.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a similar thing we had at the post office. But that's a different story.
Well, and, to be fair, we basically did that with the country of Japan, of just
Yes.
gawking and being like, ooh, ah, ooh.
Yes, for me to sit here and be like, I don't like being gawked at because of my culture, while we're telling the story about us being in a maid cafe would, of course, be completely insane.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little give and take.
Yeah, so that I think that was like the best part. It was it was a cultural exchange.
Wow.
And then we were leaving, and the only way to get there is an elevator. So basically, you're outside on the street, and there's an elevator, and it takes you right to the, like the hostess desk. So then we leave the elevator, and there's just kind of like a man, not like an old man, maybe in his 50s or 60s, kind of like looking at the poster and then waiting for us to get off. And so I'm like, wow, we were on the wrong elevator. Let's keep going, Eric. Let's find where we're actually supposed to go.
I don't remember this, but I'll take your word.
And
Wow.
I stole chopsticks from them.
Wow. What a thief.
Yep.
A thief and a liar.
It's in my scrapbook.
How did you even fit that?
Oh, there's so many things in the scrapbook that aren't just like photos. The entire thing is all like it barely closes. I got those like little Pokemon puck things. Those are in there. Some other like keychain type stuff is in there. My scrapbook's pretty dope, fam. But yeah, the
Wow.
chopsticks are in there. And when I say I stole them, I mean these were chopsticks meant for us to use to eat, but we didn't eat anything that required them, but I took them anyway.
Yeah. Now, I wouldn't associate with Devon if he was an actual thief. But apparently I would if he was a liar. Unless I just made that not be a reality anymore. So Universal was cool. We had basically 3 sections there, like OG Universal wacky stuff, and then there was Harry Potter Land and Nintendo Land. And personally, I was more of a fan of like the original and Nintendo Land part. I'm not a big Harry Potter person. Didn't do much for me.
And those are a lot of details we can get into when we eventually have a Universal episode. But given that we only have a few minutes left in this show, I think we would better spend this time talking about the incredible other cafe that we went to. And by other cafe we went to, I of course mean the Piglet Cafe.
It wasn't called Piglet? Well,
the
maybe
Piggy
it was.
Cafe. The Pig Cafe. Little oinkers.
So in Japan, it's catching on in other places, but in the way that you have a cat cafe and you can have tea or whatever and sit with cats and pet the cats and you can hang out with the cats. They have a variety of those in Japan of dog, cat, owl, pig. I want to say there was
apparently.
One otters.
Couldn't find it.
A much wider range of animals. So we went to a pig one, and I was very conflicted about it, but we went anyway. And yeah, you go inside, you like schedule an appointment because they do like 25-minute blocks of like, only so many people can fit where the pigs are. So, there can only be a max of 6 or 8 people. And for that 25 minutes, the same 6 or 8 people are just in the glorified big pen together, and you get a drink and you sip it and you pet some pigs. And if you're like me, you get to pet pigs for 30 seconds total of this 25-minute experience, as all of the other pigs pick one man in the pen and they go to that man. And then once that man is crowded, there's no more space on his lap. The other pigs pick a different man, fall asleep on his lap, and once his lap is crowded, they pick a third man, and they fall asleep on his lap. There was a random stranger who looked to be in his 50s or 60s who got chosen first, and like legit 4 pigs fell asleep on him. Another man, I'd say around our age, like 20s.
Yeah, a little younger.
Mid-20s. He got like 3 pigs on his lap, and Devon got 2 or 3 pigs on his lap, and they all just fell asleep on these men. And I and all the other women in the room were like, okay, all right, I didn't want to touch them anyway. And the staff noticed this, and they brought more pigs down from upstairs because it's, there are 2 floors for this service. They took pigs from upstairs, brought them to us into this new pen, and the new pigs would choose the same people and fall asleep on them. And it got to the point where the staff had to move and push pigs off of people that they were sleeping on so they would interact with other customers, because for a 25-minute experience and you paid, let's say, $30,
it was like 15.
15. $2.30 for 2 people.
15 each, The
you had to touch the piggies.
The older man who had all the pigs, it was this older Australian man with his wife, and they just like kept going up and snuggling on him. And so that, like Eric said, when they brought more pigs, everyone's kind of watching like, oh, these 2 girls off on the other side of the room had no piggies. Australian man had like 5. The younger couple next to us, the guy had 2 or 3, I had 2 or 3, and then the girls had none. They brought more piggies, And they go and they just sit on the Australian man, and everyone in the room just has like an uncomfortable laugh because the guy's like, "I'm not doing anything." They just want to be
Yeah.
over here.
It must have been awkward for him of just like,
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm hogging the pigs, but
You're
also,
hogging. You're
yes.
hog maxing over here.
But because you can only sit with your, on basically the floor, your legs are spread out, not spread out, like placed in front of you so that, the pigs can like go lie in between your legs like a little cushion, and everyone had to sit like that. That is the way to sit.
Yes. And
And
they told us, don't pick up the pigs, don't try to like,
don't push
bring
them.
them over to you. Like the pigs, if they sit next to you, you can pet them. That's the rule.
Yeah,
So
it's all piggy
so-
based.
yes, Eric's experience was looking at other men with their piggies. How would you rate that experience?
Like 5 or 6 out of 10. Like
You did it
it was
eventually. You got one piggy at the end. Like it just kind of you sat near you
Well,
or on you.
and like some of them would walk by me or they'd sniff me, and I would get to pet them in like the beginning or middle. But yes, only at the end did one lay down on me, and that was okay. How was your experience having pigs on you for 25 minutes?
The piggies loved me. I had piggies come over, sit between my legs. Piggy come over, sit on my lap. Piggy come over, snuggle next to me. I got my arms all around the piggies. I'm giving them scritches. I've never pet a pig before. They're very cute, obviously, very sweet. But their hair is very wiry. It's not like a dog or a horse or something. It's not like fun to pet. It's very wiry and strandy.
You
I'm
have
sure
to
it
go
could
with
be
the
soft.
grain.
Yes, you have to go with the grain. I'm sure it could be soft if they had like just gotten bathed or something, but you have to pet with the grain. But oh my god, they were so cute. They were making little oinky noises. They were like chewing on cud probably. And then yeah, just like sitting there falling asleep, being the cutest little guys ever. I'm holding there, scritching, petting my piggies, loving it. Eric got no piggies. I kept offering, like, Eric, if I kind of like leaned over a little bit, the one in my lap would probably like flump into you. Do you want my piggy? And he kept saying, no, I will wait for a piggy, which is
It's all
very
about
like,
respecting boundaries.
yes, very like samurai, like, the pig chooses the samurai. Like you gotta wait for
What?
nature. You gotta wait for nature
Why did you
to like
say
make a decision.
samurai?
You know the story because I mixed up samurai and ninja. That's why. When it's like the ninja will not kill you. The ninja will sleep all night in the reed pond, breathing through the pipe, and then use that to shoot a dart at you.
Okay.
The ninja doesn't go after the target. The target comes to the ninja because the ninja waits.
Okay.
Yeah. So like you were waiting for your piggy.
I was.
The piggy that would choose you, that would be your special piggy. You didn't just want someone else's. Just like, oh, here's
Here's my leftovers. Here's my
a
pity
courtesy
points.
piggy. Yeah, courtesy piggy. Here's my participation pig.
Yeah. Well, and it was definitely something with me because there were instances where multiple pigs would smell my feet and walk away. Like, they would come up to me, they were all curious, smell my feet, get one good sniff in, and they'd be like, no, this was a mistake. And they'd walk to the women who didn't get any pigs.
And I will say, and I meant this as a joke at the time, but also it's absolutely not a joke. But piggies can tell when you've eaten piggy. They know.
Disagree.
Dogs know. Dogs know as well. Dogs can tell if you've eaten dog before. Piggies can know if you eat piggies. I got all the piggies because I don't eat them. They smelled my feet and they're like, this is a man who does not eat pork.
Sounds like a stretch.
Piggies can smell out like mushrooms from like 1,000 miles away or something. They got good noses.
Yeah. They are truffle hunters and stuff. I don't think they're like, I smell bacon through his foot. Let me not hang out with him.
Is your foot not where you sweat your bacons? I rest my case.
I also didn't eat bacon.
But, like, you do in general. Like,
yeah, in general. Yeah, for a month I didn't. I don't think the pigs are going to be like, well, he ate bacon in 1999 when he was, 4, 5, 6 years old.
You had it on the trip multiple times. You're like, my favorite food in the world is pork cheek, and you can only get it in Japan. Like, you literally ate pork while we were there. Don't even.
Okay, first of all, you don't pay attention to a word I say. I said there's pork cheek in this ramen that is delicious. And it is delicious. I would never say meat is the most delicious thing in the world as a food, because that title belongs to pizza. Anyway, yeah, meat's delicious. Love me some meat.
No. Anyway, I loved the piggies. I thought it was a great experience. There's obviously a little apprehension with anything like that, because you're always like, are these piggies treated well? Do they have nice lives? Can they run free in their little piggy place? And they probably just spend their day in cages. So, like, not good. But then, like, all day is just being pet by people. So, like, what better life could a piggy have?
Wild. Being free.
I don't know about that. Because I think, like, predators and stuff. And then the question becomes, like, when these piggies get like too old or too big to be cute little piggies, like, where do they go? Do they send them to a butcher? Can you go across the street and eat the pigs that you were just petting? Like, I don't know what they do with them.
Yeah, there was one pig that looked to be older because it was massive.
Yes.
And they also used, I believe, teacup pigs for this cafe, which are like the go-to breed of pig to, like, it'll be cute, and, like, it's a bit smaller. I mean, eventually it grows into the size of a pig, but, like, it's smaller for longer and stuff. And it's like, well, are we just helping the teacup industry and, like,
yes,
ruining genetics for pigs?
Making them cute little guys.
They're always cute.
Cute little guys. Across the street was a Yorkie cafe, and we did not go to it because I have a Yorkie, and I do not need to go to a cafe to experience what it's like being surrounded by Yorkies.
Yeah, there was a Shiba one, and I was like, why do I care about a dog cafe? This is silly.
Yeah. We didn't go to a cat one. We might have if we had, like, more time in Tokyo. And we saw the sign for an otter one and then didn't know where it was, so that kind of would have been cool. If we had found that sign after we'd done the pig, I might have been more open to be like, let's find it. I want to pet some otters. That would have been fun. Yeah, so, like, next time, definitely go to an otter cafe. That's my advice.
Well, unless they're a bad company and they mistreat their animals.
That's like saying, hey,
next time... They have to have morals and ethics.
Next time you're in New York, go get some pizza. And you're like, whoa. What if the pizzeria is immoral? Like, yes, I think that's implied.
What? What pizzerias are you going to?
What other cafes are you going to?
I'm not. That's the whole point.
Mr. Eric here literally just said, I love eating meat. Make sure they treat your animals right. Like, excuse me? What an absurd, what a completely incoherent philosophy to have.
Oh, what do you're insane. You're too blinded by your own things. I can eat something but want it to have a good life.
Oh my god. No, you can't.
Yes, you can!
No, you can't.
What are you saying?
That's one of the most massive copes I've ever heard. I may have killed this thing and ended its life for nothing but my own temporary physical pleasure. But I can be happy in knowing that it was probably treated well while it was alive. Like, what a cope.
First of all, I want to taste the happiness when I eat it. It makes it taste better.
Oh,
Second
God.
of all, it's not because, I'm getting physically pleasured by this meat sliding down my throat into my belly. It's for nourishment.
No, it's not.
I think it's high ground you stand on that is false. To be like, your diet is BS and everything you do is BS because of these one decisions you make when you don't know the full story of anything. Maybe I need meat in my life. Maybe it's the best way I can get protein.
That's not. Yes. Yes, there's no excuse for eating meat. There we go. I said it.
And this is Devon's savior complex breaking out. So Universal had a really good atmosphere. It wasn't quite as good as Nintendo or Disney's. But when you were in Nintendo Land and even Harry Potter Land, you really did feel like you belonged. Not even belonged. That's a bit of a stretch. But like you were in it. You couldn't see buildings. You couldn't see the other parts. And you were like, whoa, I'm like in a Mario level. Whoa. It was cool.
When we were on the train going to, I don't know if it was Universal, but it was definitely when we were on that train area, like on that subway. We took a wrong, this would have been before Universal, I guess. We basically took a wrong turn. So we had to cross a street. And so instead of doing that, we went underground and then like crossed the street underground and then came back up the other side. And you're just like, I don't think we had to do that. I'm like, okay. But while we were coming up the ramp, to like come back up the other side, there was a package, like a little wrapped package in like twine that was like resting against the hand railing. And I look at it and I'm like, I'm worried that that's a bomb. That might be a bomb. We should tell someone. But then also in my head, I'm like, who could we tell? Like the station manager down the road at the subway station? Should we flag down a cop? And then what do we say? Do I just say bomb? Like, what? How to convey? And then by that point, we were like already in the train station. But I spent the entire rest of that day, like, if I check my phone and there was an explosion outside the hotel, it's my fault because I saw something and didn't say something.
I mean, it could have just been drugs.
You remember the bomb scare?
There was no bomb scare.
There was no bomb. It was fine. It was all good, but I was worried about it.
Yeah, I mean, we could have went to the cops about it, I guess, and just directed them to physically toward that area, and we're like, it's here. But everything's probably fine.
No, if you see something, say something. If we were in an English-speaking country, I think I would have done it.
I mean, that sounds like a cope then on your part. What, you're gonna let a language barrier get in the way of you and being a responsible person and reporting suspicious activity? For shame.
For shame.
All the time, I was like, Devon, you should know literally any words in Japanese so you aren't a stranded baby duck when I separate from you, inevitably. And you go, nah, I'm fine. And a week in, you go, Eric, how do I say hello?
Yes. This has been a very shame-filled episode.
Yeah.
Felt shame in the beginning. Feeling a lot of shame from you now. You're shaming me. Okay, you're like, Mr. We shouldn't feel shame for going to the Maid Cafe. Now you're shaming me for whatever you're talking about now. I think it's pretty hypocritical. I think you have a lot of growing up to do, buddy.
No,
so leave your answers in the
You got
comments.
shamed in the beginning for lying. This is nonsense. Don't try to gaslight me.
Guys, make sure you gaslight Eric in the comments.
Don't gaslight me. You should speak nothing but the truth in the comments to Devon. And if you lie to me, you lie to me. But no gaslight.
Speak the truth. Let us know what your opinion on animal cafes, if you like piggies. What your opinion on maid cafes is.
Would you go? Would you stay away with a 100-mile stick?
And I cannot emphasize this enough. We actually did it for the cultural enrichment. Like it's like so not a joke.
There's also nothing weird about it, really.
Oh, I disagree.
It's not like you're taking pictures of women in uniforms being like, hey, yes. You're like at a restaurant, it's themed. You get your parfait, you eat
Eric,
it, you walk away.
Eric, there was one of our waitresses at this totally other location was like a cute girl, and I'm like, Eric, you should like, ask her out, ask for her number or whatever. And Eric was like, no, it is inappropriate to ask out a waitress because they're in the service industry and they're there to like give you a good time, and so it would be inappropriate to cross that boundary and like ask them on a date or something. And I'm like, that is insane.
And I said, that's too bad for you. You still have some growing up to do, buddy. You shouldn't do that. And that maintained throughout the entire thing.
So the fact that you
were creepier at a normal pizzeria than you were at the maid cafe.
Because it's absolutely not creepy and 100% perfectly okay to ask out your waiter.
Disagree. This is what the comments should be about. Is it okay to ask your waiter? And the answer is no.
The answer is I know multiple people who asked out their waiter or waitress and then got into a relationship with them because it's a totally normal way to meet people.
Sounds fake. I don't know these people. Well,
you do. You quite literally.
I clearly don't. So yeah. Oh, and to be clear, nothing. It wasn't like Devon did anything. Devon wants to be alone forever. He doesn't want to ask out the cute waitress, which I think that was also weird too. You were like, "Oh, Eric, look how cute she is. You should ask her out." I'm like, "Why don't you ask her out? You think she's cute?"
No, because you went on the journey, and you're like, "I'm gonna find my beautiful wife there."
No, what? I jokingly was like, maybe I'll find someone in Japan. I wasn't like, I'm getting married here. I'm gonna meet a beautiful Japanese woman.
And I was out of here. I was like, look, Eric, it's a cute one. Go ask her out.
Nah.
Tell her about her cute little nose.
No. Anyway, this is dragged on long enough.
I wanted to maybe hit like the hour mark or something. I don't know. I felt very, very odd. Very odd perspectives that you have.
I think you also have odd perspectives.
It's okay to go to a maid cafe and you shouldn't feel weird, but it's not okay to ask out a waitress. Incoherent philosophy. It's okay to eat meat, but it's not okay to go to like a pig cafe if the cages are like slightly too small. Incoherent philosophy.
No, it's about... Okay, first of all, the restaurant one is going to a restaurant. The theme of it all is respect. You respect the waitresses and the waiters and the cooks and the whoever else, and you respect the animals and their lives. I'm not gonna be weird and possibly creepy and go up to a waitress and be like, I saw you from the room and I think you're pretty cute. Please give me your number. Like, that's weird.
I think you'd get lots of numbers that way. That's literally not weird.
It's weird. Also...
No, it's not. That's normal. Eric, it's so
animals should have a good life despite, us ruling the world as humans, and they deserve kindness and respect. I'm not gonna punch my dog because I'm angry. That's insane. And I think you would be mad at me, as you should be, if I did that.
Yes, and I'm more mad at you for eating meat in general. But we don't talk about that.
But you can still want something to have a good life and respect it and understand that it will die. No. And when it dies, you can eat it.
When it dies, as if you're not the one who killed it strictly to eat it. Okay.
I'm not doing the killing.
Yes, you are. That cope. Insane
cope. I would 100% kill a chicken, though, to eat it. And that's fine.
No, it's not.
I have family that used to do that. It's in my blood.
I think it's in everyone's blood, because 100 years ago, there was nothing to eat besides meat. Like, humans are 20 million years old. I know that I'm going to lose this battle in the comments. Like, I don't even care. I'm just staking my flag.
I mean, that's fair. If that's the hill you want to die on,
Oh, it is, and you know that.
I've seen people die on worse hills, so I think.
This is the hill I will die on.
But you gotta use every part of the animal.
Yeah, but you only have to use the other parts of the animal because you're killing it for the meat.
So you're saying if I wanted to have leather clothes and then I ate the meat because I wanted leather first, that would be okay?
No, I also don't use leather. I also don't buy leather. I buy vegan shoes, Eric.
Do you actually?
Yes!
Is that a tag you can, like,
Yes.
search on Nike of, like,
Yes,
the
yes.
vegan shoes?
Vegan is a section in shoes.
No way. What?
Yes. Yeah, no, you can go to vegan Skechers shoes. That's what I wear.
That's... Huh.
I had a...
So you go to the filter option and it's like size, price, and then vegan.
Yeah. You know, we have a friend who works at a shoe store. I was at the mall with a couple people. And they're like, oh, Devon, like, you need to, like, increase your drip. You need to get better fashion. So we start looking at shoes. And they're like, look, New Balance, this is a fad. And I'm like, this is the ugliest thing I've ever seen. This is like dad shoes. And they're like, yeah, that's the point. It is like dad shoes. And look, this one's, like, stained slightly green. It's like your dad who just mowed the lawn. I'm like, fashion is insane. I hate all of this.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so they're like, we need to find your size. I'm like, well, I'm a size 14, so you're not going to. And they're like, oh, maybe we can ask. And I'm like, also, by the way, I only buy vegan shoes. So, like, if they do have my size in this shoe, they're not going to, like, have a vegan shoe. And some of the people are like, excuse me, what's a vegan shoe? And then the girl who works at a shoe store is like, oh, yeah, no, that's like a totally normal thing.
Interesting.
Yeah. Because I don't buy leather.
Well, you know, the leather already exists because you killed it for its meat, so...
Doesn't matter. You know the injury I have?
Oh, sure. I'm not going to change your lifestyle. What's that?
Yeah. You know the injury I have?
Your shoulder, yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, we should talk about that.
No, it's fine. Got injured in Japan. Eric had to baby...
Got injured? Devon was fine. He wasn't assaulted or anything.
No, but I got injured. Came home. Doctor prescribed antibiotics for it. And I didn't take them.
Because?
Because the pills are made of gelatin. So I don't take those kind of pills. So I didn't take them.
Are you infected now?
No, I'm totally fine. But yeah, no, it's it's a hard life, but it's the correct thing to do in all cases, and everyone who's not a vegetarian is wrong. Bye, everyone.
You don't have to listen to Devon. It's okay. I'll be with you eating meat. Also, I just want to point out one last little example. You were too quick there. One of the calcium supplements we got from the pushy lady, I was like, oh, it's calcium. I'll take these. And I'm like, Devon, do you want some calcium pills? And you were like, does it have animal in it? And I'm like, I don't know. So I, Google Translate the ingredients and stuff. And I'm like, the main ingredient is like a clam shell or oyster shell, something like that. And you said, nope, that's animal. Not taking it.
That is correct.
I just figured that was semi-relevant from the antibiotics things.
Feel
free to write in the comments of anything from this episode. There's too much.
Purely non-controversial, incredible episode. This episode's just gonna be titled the Universal episode. I'm sure it gave everyone exactly what they wanted.
Oh, I'm not doing that I'm not lying to
people. Yes, you are.
No,
That's
I'm
part
not.
Of the bit.
If you titled the episode Universal, people will know it was you that lied to them. I will not title it that. Goodbye, everybody. I hope you enjoyed.
Slapendipity@gmail.com.
Feel free to write in. It's been a minute since we've read anything, but we're just trying to get through all the stories. We will read them. Until then, tip your waitresses and waiters.
Hit on your waiters.
Don't hit on them. Tip them.